Jay, how are you?
Good, brother. How are you? I'm doing great now that I get to hang with you.
I know it's so good to see you. I mean, we've known each other for years, and then you drop a dime on the world amongst your friends, amongst your colleagues, and you drop the dime that you haven't been well. So can we start
Let's
there?
define. Let's define well. It's the only life I know.
Yeah, let's define that.
I have to
Which
make
is
it well. I have to make. Am I allowed to curse on here or not?
no, yeah, we're adults.
Okay. I've got to make my fucked upness where it works for me, where I'm proud of it, and where it lifts me up and not it doesn't keep me down. So yeah, there's a lot of definitions of well there. I'll correct and say I drop a dime and let people know that I've been in pain my whole life. Y'all
Mhm.
have known I've been crazy, but no one knew how much pain I was in.
So this is the part. This is why I wanted to have a conversation with you because you're an alpha male. You understand the language. You understand the DNA of competitive environments. It's the currency of trust that you work from. And people like you somehow you never let on that you're
Yeah.
struggling. So I want to understand this because you are presenting like life is pretty good and I'm kind of screwed up, but like that, aren't we all? And
That's
then
that's a badge of honor in football and fighting, being crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it is. And
Mhm.
you also had the other part of you, which was like, hey, I really want to help people. Come to find out, you needed the help, just like me. I needed the help. But just tell me about just tell me about the suffering that you were experiencing, the pain
Right.
that you were done with keeping private.
It's my earliest childhood memory is depression, anxiety. I don't know how to live life any other way. And it sucks. It sucks. It's every single day of my life. I feel that I wake up feeling unworthy of being loved. The sky is falling. Really guilty about the bad that I've done, if you will. And um, I've got to work myself out of bed every day. Right? I've got to get myself where I don't just stay in bed and let the beast beat me. But it's been something I've dealt with my entire life. And again, I don't know if it's I was born with it or early childhood trauma, whatever it is. It's the only memories I know, and still to this day. Um, and yeah, it's dark. And so that character that I built up on Fox NFL Sunday and Ballers and the world of mixed martial arts, a lot of that was to mask. A lot of it to kind of give people what they want, but also to mask my own pain. And look, like this right here, this not muscles aren't true strength, but vulnerability is. And man, I've dealt with this for the most part on my own all these years. I started going to a therapist when I was like 4 or 5.
Mm.
But having to create that character, Jay Glazer, so I could hide it is why I'm talking about it now. So none of us have to hide it anymore. So we don't have to suffer in silence. So we can be who we really are and know that we're in the majority. Like it's the cool kids now, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get us to understand. And we all have it. And whether it's listen, I wrote this book, Unbreakable, because we all go through things now. Whether it's my level, right, where it's clinical, the anxiety and depression and bipolar, or whether you're just going through it because we just got through a pandemic, we were told to isolate from the world, or whether we just think our lives suck now because we compare ourselves to everybody else's lives on social media, and of course we feel left out. There's all of us go through something now. Or I've had so many people go, well, I don't have it. Like, yeah, you do, but I don't have it, but my daughter does, or my son does. So we all talk about mental health, but who describes it? I want to be the one to describe it. I want to give us, God bless me with the ability to communicate. So I want to give us words now so we could all have these conversations and know we're definitely not alone and we could be authentic to ourselves.
Amen. And everybody experiences anxiety, depression differently. Now, there is a cluster. I'm speaking like a shrink right now. There's a cluster of symptoms that take place. I would love for
Yeah.
us to talk about, there's 9 basic
Oh,
symptoms that take place for folks.
well,
And
I'll tell you mine right now.
yeah, so and by the
Well,
way, just for folks, there's 9 and you need 5 to cluster together for an extended period of time, 2 weeks to 30 days to meet the clinical diagnosis. But that doesn't mean that you're not suffering in some kind of way. But I'd love to hear yours.
Okay, so first of all, again, my depression anxiety started as a child. So it's, again, every day, every night. But anxiety attacks, my first one was 2005. And I was actually on TV in an empty Oakland Raiders stadium. Nobody there. And I had a big scoop to put out. So I don't know why. I have no idea what triggered it. No clue. And when I have anxiety attacks, and by the way, it's now been every single week of my life since. It's become part of my weekly routine. I don't want it. I don't want it there. But it's every single freaking week. It sucks. This past week woke me up at 3:00 in the morning. I normally don't get woken up, but it kicked my ass this week. But I'm in that Raider stadium. And what happens to me when I have an anxiety attack is I feel like I'm having a heart attack, right? I get really short of breath. My heart starts racing like crazy. I start sweating like crazy. My eyes start darting back and forth. The walls start caving in. So 2005, we weren't talking about anxiety attacks. So I started getting my heart checked out. I thought I was having a heart attack. For 10 years, I went to doctors to try to figure out what was wrong with my heart. 10 years. It wasn't until I saw something about an anxiety attack where I was like, oh, wait. Okay, that's what I have. But think about this. I was going to doctors for 10 years. And I had an anxiety attack every single time after that I went on TV, whether it was taped or live. And I'm not afraid to be on TV. Like, I'm great in chaos. I suck in calm. So I'll create a lot of chaos sometimes. I'm great in chaos. So in a cage, phenomenal. On TV, I feel great. So I don't really understand why I have these anxiety attacks when I go on TV, when I feel so safe there. But I also don't make up the rules of this thing. So, those first 10 years, imagine that, where I was just trying to go, trying to figure out what's wrong with my heart. And that's another reason I'm doing this, because I can give this to words to this and people go, oh my God, me too. I'd probably say, as I started telling this story, I don't know if the majority of my friends have said they've had one, but a large number of people have been like, oh man, I thought it was just me. Oh, that's what I have too. And again, this power in numbers. The more I can communicate this, the more I can show people they're not alone, because it sucks fighting this alone.
Okay, so let's put some language to it. You're calling it anxiety attack. It's a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
And then you had a panic attack with a very specific trigger, which was something related to about to being on air. And so,
I don't know. I don't think it was related on air. And again, it was empty.
Not. Okay.
No. That's what I'm saying. It just happened to happen.
Oh, was it like you were in the stadium in an empty stadium with cameras kind of getting set up? And
no,
it wasn't
they
that.
are.
Okay.
No, they were, but that's not like, it's not, it wasn't induced by like, again, I love being on, and it's kind of weird how it happens too. Like now it's the first time I come on, and then you'll see me like crack a quick joke. Cause like, that's how I get through it by breathing and laughter. And I wasn't panicking because I was going on. It just coincided with that. But then I am habitual. So that's when it started taking place. And now I don't do it. It doesn't happen. It's funny. When I did that Lane Johnson sit down this year, I asked him, hey, what, you got any tips for people to get through? And he said, well, I started journaling. And I realized since I've written the book, man, I stopped having those panic or anxiety attacks when I go on TV because I wrote about the book. So it changed to overnight, or like it found another place to get me. Right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Or before dinner, or like it's found another place. But I call my anxiety / panic attacks / depression, I call it my abuser. And my abusers figured out a way to hold on, even though now I've shifted away from when I go on air. So that's why I don't know per se if that triggered it. Again, you're the doctor, maybe it did. I don't know. But I don't know why it would have.
No. Well, okay, so let's just call it panic attacks. But some panic attacks have specific triggers, and some are almost agnostic to a trigger. And it feels like, damn, this thing could get me at any time, as opposed to when I show up at the dentist's office, like it's a full panic attack. And so yours was a little bit loose in that respect. There was some triggers, but it was a little bit loose because it had to do something around TV, but you like In this case, you like going to the dentist. You like going on
Right.
air.
Right.
So, it's almost like a bad joke that it would show up
Yeah.
there.
And it's, again, I feel comfortable there. I'm like, I am great in between the ears in a cage or at the gym or on TV, and I'm not great a lot in public. So you think that that's where it would rise up, and it normally doesn't. Sometimes it'll happen at a lunch. If it's a lunch meeting, normally not with friends. It's happened. Again, it's kind of all over. Yeah, it's happened with friends. It's just, I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason in mine. Mine just says, no, you're not getting away so fast. And it's my job to fight back.
Okay, so you've got 3 ways that you're working with it. And I want to go back to the depression thing in a minute, but we're here with anxiety. So anxiety, by definition, a layman's definition, is an excessive worry of what could go wrong later.
Yes.
Panic attacks
I call it the sky is falling. Yes.
The sky's falling. And a panic attack is a physiological experience that you feel as though you're about to die.
Right.
There's really no alternatives other than to fight or freeze or run away. Like it's a hijack. Your brain hijacks your thinking experience. And it's brutal. Like it is a brutal experience. Let's go to the 3 strategies that you found to be useful for you.
So mine are for depression and anxieties, not just for the anxiety. All right. Okay. These are my 3 pillars in the book here. One is that laughter I talked about. So I use that as an immediate thing. Again, when I'm on air on Fox NFL Sunday, if you see me crack like a weird joke that doesn't fit at that time, it's because I'm having a really bad one. And I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack on the air. So I'll crack a joke, they laugh, and boom, it goes away because the gray hates laughter.
Okay, hold on, pause. Did your teammates, the folks that you're on air with, the production crew, did they know that that's why you're doing a laugh? Were they in on the strategy?
Nope.
Not until you wrote the book.
Not until I wrote the book. In fact, I announced the book on Good Morning America with my baby sister, Michael Strahan, who has been my best friend since 1993. And I said it on there, and he went, "What?" And then he called me after. He said, "Every week?" I said, "Every week." He's like, "Why didn't you tell?" And Kurt Menefee asked the same. I said, "Because I don't want to drag down your guys' show. Like this is me. I got to get through it." Now, I do lean on my teammates when the depression, anxiety is bad. But when they're having an attack and I'm on the air, that's their safe place too. That's their day. So I've had to work through it myself. I don't want to. We're also live on camera. I don't want to come over in the middle of something and go, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm going to just have a heart attack right now." I don't want to bring their day down, which is the opposite of what I want us all to do. Is I want us to reach out and tag a teammate and get help. But in the moment, I never said it to them. This year, I didn't have any until, here's the crazy thing. After our very last show in studio, which was the NFC divisional round, because the next week we go on the road to the NFC championship game. We finished up. We went down to have a meeting about the following week. Boom, full blown right there.
In a meeting.
Heading into the meeting. So it didn't have one at all on camera. It wasn't until the end. We're heading the meeting, and the start of the meeting, boom. And I told Kurt Menefee and Howie, and I said, "Dude, I'm having it. I'm having it." And they saw me, and I opened my jacket up, and I was filled with sweat. And Kurt's like, "Whoa!" Like you said, there is a visceral, physical reaction when it happens. But again, you're talking about no rhyme or reason. I'm off the air. I'm off the air in studio for the whole entire year, and it happens into a meeting just to plan for the next week, which we always have.
Okay, I want to take a quick little break right here to talk about Grove Collaborative. Did you know that only 9% of plastic actually gets recycled? It kills me. No matter how much you put in your recycling bin. And that's one of the reasons I was attracted to Grove Collaborative. They believe it's time to ditch the single-use plastics for good. And I'm right there with them. Grove carries hundreds of products aimed at replacing single-use plastics across your home and personal care routine. In 2025, Grove will be 100% plastic-free. Grove Co. offers concentrated cleaners and refillable glass bottles. They're friendlier to the planet and twice as effective as the leading natural brands. Switch to sustainable products for every room in your home, from laundry care to hand soaps and more. Grove Co. has you covered with safe formulas and refillable packaging that never compromise on performance. So literally, Grove Co. products are slowly but surely taking over my household, from dishwater detergent to multi-purpose cleaner, hand soaps, dish soap, sponges. Essentially, anything to do with cleaning up my kitchen has become a Grove Co. product. I really love what they're creating. So join over 2 million households already shopping sustainably at Grove, and they couldn't make it easier for us with this offer. So go to grove.com/findingmastery today to get a free gift set worth up to $50 with your first order. Plus, free shipping. It's fast, it's free, it's all good right there. So get started right now at grove.com/findingmastery. That's grove.com/findingmastery. And please be sure to use the link so they know where you came from. And Finding Mastery is also brought to you by Babbel. For most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly a high point in our academic careers. I took foreign language in high school like most people, but I didn't retain it. And then my wife speaks multiple languages and my son speaks multiple languages, and I'm just trying to hang on. And so I turned to Babbel. And so the language learning app, they've sold more than 10 million subscriptions. So whether you're going to be traveling abroad or connecting in a deeper way with family, or you just have that itch that you want to scratch to have a second language, to understand the world differently from, new words, Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. For me, I chose Spanish so that I could, have that language to be able to confer with my family members. And so with Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, obviously Spanish, but French, Italian, German, and the list goes on. They've also got a speech recognition technology to help you improve your pronunciation and your accent. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can also access podcasts and games and videos, stories, even live classes. Right now, you can save up to 60% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/mastery. So that's Babbel, BABBEL.com/mastery. One more time, babbel.com/mastery for 60% off your subscription. Babbel is the language for life. And just to be extra clear here, this code here is just mastery. It's babbel.com/mastery. And let's jump right back into our conversation. So the anxiety around a panic attack is often more constricting and debilitating than the actual panic attack.
Yes. Because you think you're going to die on the air. Yeah. It's
Well,
I don't want
it's
to be
like,
that
is it
guy.
going but you're not. No one's ever died of a panic attack,
No.
right? There's
You're-
people die of
you're
heart
safe.
attacks, but
Yes.
that's not what this is.
I know
But
I'm
it's
safe.
Yeah, it's the anxiety, like, when is it going to drop? When is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? No, it's not going to drop. Should I?
Yep.
Could it drop? It could drop. Should I go? I should go. And that's the internal civil war
Mhm.
that creates such a tension internally that we actually create, a reason to have a panic attack. But it's that anxiety that is often more constricting than the actual panic attack. And just to be clear, like, only about 2% of the population in the United States have had a panic attack. I shouldn't say only.
No shot. No chance. That's the
Two-
ones who talk about it now.
Okay, so you're
Think of-
saying
Oh my God, yeah.
that you're saying it's doubled.
2%? It's way more than, I'd say it's times 10, 20, 30. Oh, no. And that's because I've done this. I'm now at people reach out going, oh my God, I didn't know how to tell. I didn't know who to talk about. I've never told anybody. So all the studies we have, that's the people who've been willing to talk about it. Think about all those people who aren't willing to talk about it. That's the majority. The majority aren't willing to talk about it. So I'm going to say it's way more.
And they're not actually, science is interesting, right? Like, I think anxiety, depression are underreported as well. And the estimates for anxiety, depression are about like 15% for anxiety. I've always said it's probably more like 30. 3 out of 10 people have had,
Keep going.
and yeah, you think it's even higher. Well,
Well,
know
but
that during
I'll tell
the
you why. Go
pandemic,
ahead.
but during the pandemic, it's even higher than that.
Right.
So,
So when were these studies done?
well, they're done annually. They're done every year.
Okay, but here's the thing. I just spoke to a room of clinicians about this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and there's 74 of them and one of just 74 doctors and one fucked up dude. Even though there's probably 75 fucked up people there. And I said, you guys all got your education on this from schooling. My education is unfortunately from suffering, but everybody went to school before this was such a factor. And social media was a factor. Again, there's a couple of things here with the social media part. You get hooked on it, right? You get hooked on whether it's the likes or it becomes another habit and you put it down. your brain waves are so different now than they used to be. Like you're just addicted, right? So that leads into it. That's number one. Number two, we're comparing ourselves to everybody else's, like I said, everybody else's filtered fraction of 1 second in one day. And we feel left out. We think our lives suck. The most famous people in the world think that their lives suck because, oh, look how much fun they're having. Look what these people do. Look at that person's business. Look at that person's meal. Look at that party. How come I wasn't invited to that party? It's a lot more. And then the hate we see on Twitter when we were growing up, and if you were bullied at the playground or your friend was, it did suck for the weekend, the week, right? And that's a weekend or a week of your time over one bullying. We see it 1,000 times per minute on Twitter. The human condition is not meant for it. They're not factoring all that in. So when you're seeing these numbers, they're not even close. And I'm talking, and maybe you guys are talking clinical depression, anxiety, which is my level, but that's not who we should be talking about. We should be talking about everybody. And even like people, as I've started to write, and if you read the book, it's this, I talk about the gray through a conversation I had with Sean McVay last year. When we were in Cabo, me, him, and Andrew Whitworth, when Matthew Stafford literally happened to show up to our hotel. It was not planned, even though people don't believe it. It literally was not planned. Actually, McVay was down there because I broke up with my girlfriend, and he was down. He stayed down and helped console my ass. He was supposed to be gone. So it was coincidental. But we had a conversation that night, me, him, and Andrew Whitworth, about living in the gray and that darkness. And the darkness that gets football players and people do push themselves to such high levels. And Sean just didn't understand it. He didn't get it at the time. And I think the majority are like him. And as we started talking this year, he called me in the middle of this year and he said, now I get it. Yeah, I suffered from the gray. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know that that's what that was. So that's what I mean. I think the masses have something. And now that I've written this book also, people have reached out and say, I don't have it, but my son does, or my daughter does, or my this or that. And even though, no, you got it too. But they just want the words to connect with their son or daughter and have the communication to connect with them, so there's a lot more than we think.
I love what you're doing because your gift is to put words to experiences. You're doing it here in an intimate, meaningful way that's changing people. Also, I would temper the enthusiasm of the percentage of people that have it because you will get a confirmation bias. So as soon as you are wearing, I don't know, something, a piece of jewelry, and then all of a sudden you look out and you're like, people are like, oh, I have one like that and I have one like that. But the people that don't have one don't reach out to you.
But isn't that better? Isn't that better for them to go, yes, that's me, than to hide in the shadows and suffer in silence?
Oh, no.
Right.
No.
So
I'm
not saying again, my level,
Listen,
it could be anything. Like Sean
no.
He doesn't have my level, but this year is like, oh, dude, I've been suppressing this and I haven't leaned on anybody when I go through this anxiety. I haven't been vulnerable about it. Yes.
Yeah, you're giving a massive gift to people. And so folks like Sean that are great at what they do, there's an aloneness that can come with that as well. There's an aloneness on that depression side that is unique for people that are trying to do the extraordinary. And I'm not saying that by any means depression is reserved for just them, but there's a uniqueness in this community of people that are trying to do the extraordinary that is compounded in many respects.
Yeah, I think on the other end too, though, because it's such a stigma, and because people feel so like they're damaged, or if they say they have depression, anxiety, that's why I'd personally rather more people, even if it's a little or a lot, jump in with it this way and then say, okay, at least I have a grasp of this. Like, listen, if you sprain your knee, I don't want you hiding that, right? Let's at least know we have it. How do we fix it? Now, there's a difference between a sprained knee and a torn ACL. Totally different, right? But we still have to go and attack it. Same thing here. And the other part of this too is mental health is way too reactive. We only go to a therapist when something wrong's happened, when the sky is falling, right? We don't do that with physical health. We got to start doing it with mental health.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the old way.
That's why we need to do this. Right. And to have us feel like we're the majority, because I do think we are the majority. And again, I'm not saying clinical, but it's a harder world than we've ever lived in, man. It's whether it's the pandemic or social media or it's just a harder world than it's ever been. So I think that we are in the majority, and the more people, and I'm just saying that, and it doesn't mean like your life sucks or anything like that. It's like, man, I had this panic attack, or man, I had this period where I couldn't get out of this period for a little while, or I do have these feelings, or man, I want to connect better with my son or daughter. It's really, I'm not able to with this. I just think we all go through a lot more struggles, but our struggles got to make us strong, man. Like our scars are we have to really rely on
Here's the
to
thing.
brag about.
You're a strong man. And so by you doing this, it creates a really strong anchor. Like, oh, okay, if he
Yeah.
can, I can.
Yep.
Awesome. It is harder for the person who feels weak
Yeah.
to be able to say it. Even though you feel, listen, on paper, you've
Yeah.
got all this success. Physically, you look like you've been sculpted out of a piece of marble.
What marble store would that be?
Yeah, right.
You only see from here up.
It's a big one, right? Yeah.
You see from here up, not there, not the gut.
So, like,
But
notwithstanding,
here's the thing: don't I have more? And that's why I am doing this, because I think I built up this big facade for a while.
there you go.
So
yes.
I was willing to break it down than most. So I think there's both, right? You could be, well, I'm not that strong to do it. When yes, you are that strong to do it. But also my level was, yeah, I'm going to decide to reveal myself,
okay,
who I really am, to the world.
I love that. Let's have this in as a just a thought stem. Osaka raises her hand and says, "I can't do it."
Yeah.
Okay. She says, Naomi Osaka says, "I can't do it." And then what about the number?
Which is strong as shit.
Yep, strongest, like best in the world. What about number?
No, that was strong. That was strong to her.
And she is, yeah.
Yeah,
and so,
really strong to her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing. Now, what about number 255 on tour that is near bankrupt?
Yep.
Has the same conditions.
So, no matter what, I think we need to be. I think the most successful people are as authentic as they can be. Right? You got to live and die with who you are.
Period.
So if you're number 52 or number 252, if you come forward with it, maybe they don't have the same form, but they can turn to their coach or their teammates and go, man, I'm really struggling. And then their teammates and coach are allowed to lift them up, because we need it. And that's, you talk about the book. Like I did this so I can have more teammates, so I can talk to them about it. When I talk to them about it, it gets me through that grade better. It allows me to walk this walk with more people. So even if you're and I understand what you're saying, because number 252 on tour is like, man, if I say this, I'm going to be over here. No one's going to give me a chance.
And I've got to show up to this thing, because I don't have any resources.
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't show up. And Naomi, and I think, listen, and that's what I warn people about too. Like I've been on both sides. I've been on the broke side when I made $9,750 a year for the first 11 years of my career. Okay. $9,700 living in New York City, broken and broke, working 100-hour weeks. I couldn't get another job because I wanted to outwork everybody in this field. So Strahan actually drove me back into New York City every day for 7 years, because I didn't have enough for subway and bus fare both ways. So I owe him like 28 grand in Lincoln Tunnel fare. But every single day drove me from Giant Stadium back. And he didn't even live in New York City. So I understand the broke side. When I went from broke to, let's say, Unbreakable, when I'm up here and I became the first, minute by minute, breaking news person in this country, me and John Clayton and Len Pasquarelli on the internet, which I think is going to take off, that internet thing one day. All of a sudden I got hours for 50 grand. And all of a sudden I started moving up, and it was like this amount. And I started moving up more and more. I thought it'd be rainbows and unicorns. And it wasn't. Like, if you don't know how to love yourself up from the inside out, I don't care how much money they pay me. Like, it wasn't. And in fact, it made it harder on me. So all of a sudden, now that we're in the TV Hall of Fame, I'm in 5 years of Ballers. I have a great charity. I have a big brand with GNC and Unbreakable. Between my ears, it's probably it's harder, because now I'll have things to lose. I didn't have anything to lose back then. Now I'm so afraid to lose it all that it's changed who I was. So someone like Naomi Osaka, when you get so high, or Simone Biles, now all of a sudden the whole world's watching you. You have a lot more to lose. there's hard things about both sides. So I've experienced both. That's what's hard for somebody like her, for somebody like me, or a lot of other people that, like, look, The Rock wrote the forward on this and did it because he said, brother, you're going to be the one who helps lead us all through the gray. But Dwayne is the most successful person on the planet because he still honestly feels like he's going to be broke next week again and be homeless again next week. And he's going to lose it all. Not that he's not going to get it. He's going to lose it. And that anxiety grips him. And I know people go, oh yeah, tough problems. Again, all our problems weigh the same between our ears. They all weigh the same. So Naomi's problem, like, it could have been one thing, but now, yes, she has so much more to lose. Where that girl at 252, right, doesn't have that to lose, but she still has those problems. She still has that pain, I should say.
That's right. Equally hard for different reasons.
Correct.
Right. And okay. And so.
And obviously I have ADD too, which is why I keep interrupting you. So I got everything.
No. Our experience in life is the relationship we have with experience. So it's the way that you and I uniquely experience this conversation is what makes us us. And if I'm experiencing this right now, like, geez, dude can't stop interrupting me, then I'm going to have a frustrated experience. If my experience is like, God, he's on it, he's rolling, then my experience is like my shoulders drop and I'm leaning in. So this is what I hope a takeaway is that anybody that's listening listens to you and says, listen, I've got moments in my life that feel as though it's going to get the best of me. Mm-hmm. I keep fighting. I keep figuring out, I got to laugh. I need a community. I need a tribe.
Build a team.
And the team. And then what was your third one?
My third one is be of service.
Be of service. So you're right. Hold on real quick. You're right on the money with 3 of the really important components to be able to work from a clinical standpoint with anxiety, mm-hmm. depression, even addiction. And so now talk about that third one of being of service.
Yeah. So being of service for me, it's hard to feel that dark, doomy gray when you see others happy or smile, you know you've done something for somebody. So again, even when I was broke, I figured out ways to be of service. And I still actually do the same thing. I would go to the 99-cent store and I would get toothbrush, toothpaste, handy wipes, Band-Aids, pad and pen, socks, gloves, and deodorant, and put it in a bag and give out to the homeless. It's $8, right? And I still do that with my son. So it's just things. Or now being of service, just be calling somebody. Like this, the other night, I said I had one that really got me. I just called some people and said, hey, how are you doing? So some people I called and said, hey, I'm struggling. That's about me having a team. And some people I called and said, how are you doing? I'm just checking up on you. So by me doing that, it allowed me to work myself through it. And the other thing you just said, that everybody has this, and it's like that moment, right? I just did an appearance recently and about all this. And there was a man in the crowd. I think it was about 75 years old. I think that's what he said. And he raised his hand. He said, Jay, you said you have this crippling depression, anxiety, but then you talk about being relentless and unbreakable in life. He said, I had a hard time getting out of bed. I almost didn't come here this morning. I had a hard time getting out of bed and coming. So how are you able to be this relentless in life with this level of anxiety? And I said, I'm glad you asked that. I said, it is hard for me to get out of bed every single day. Every single morning of my life, I wake up and I feel like the sky is falling. And I feel unworthy of being loved. And I feel just, man, that the world's against me. Mike, it's every day. It sucks. But once I make that decision to get out of bed, because I'm going to fucking get out of bed. Once I make that decision, then I go after life relentlessly. And that's what I told him. Once I make that decision, right? Life's about our choices and our decisions. I might as well go for it, right? Now, I may be listless because it's getting to me, but I'm going for it. So I said to him, I said, man, you just opened up in front of 200 of your colleagues about this. Is this the first time you ever told anybody? He said, it is. He pulled his glasses off and starts crying. I said, how freaking courageous is that? This is what I mean about having a team. The entire place got up and gave this guy a standing ovation. Right. And this is what I mean, like, be a team. That was me being of service to him, but also that was his way of reaching out and having a team. It was pretty courageous of him to raise his hand in front of coworkers, but also I'm getting choked up here because that's 75 years of pain for that dude. 75 years where if I didn't happen to speak on this, who knows if he ever talked about it, right? So there's just too many of us out there that are like that. And that's why I think this is just important to do.
Jay, I'm stoked on what you're doing. And I can't wave my arms far enough or high enough to say, pay attention to what you're saying, because this silent suffering that happens for most of us, this aloneness, this sometimes chemical, sometimes psychological, sometimes both, experience that feels overwhelming, there are tools. And you named 3 of them. Laughing is a great tool. It changes physiology. It forces you to be present. There's a long exhale, which sends a signal to the brain that you're okay. Humor is good in so many ways. The second is having a community.
Yeah, having a team.
And that goes 2 ways, right? That is you connecting with others and others being there for you. So a teammate is what it's about.
And I want to kind of delve into that a little bit more, because a teammate isn't just having an actual team. It's not the Seattle Seahawks. It's not the LA Rams. Right? Some of it is, could be. Like for me, my dog is in our team. My son and I are a team. God and I, the one up there, we're a team. My fight team is a team. My Unbreakable team's a team. My MVP charity is a team, right? My Fox Anvil Sunday crew is certainly a team that I lean on. So there's teams all around us. We just got to see it and realize, okay, that person's a teammate. My wife or husband is actually a teammate. My children are teammates. My parents are teammates. My dog's teammate. God is a teammate. Your work could be a teammate. So that's what we have, more teams around us than we think. That's my point.
That's right. And we have to be good teammates for those teams to stay together, to hold together, to be true.
Yeah. Don't be a selfish teammate. Yep.
No, it doesn't last long. It just doesn't last long.
Don't be a selfish teammate. Yes.
I love it. And then the other is, being of service. Now there's a couple others. Talk therapy. So working with somebody that is highly skilled in the way that mind, thoughts and emotions work.
And that's what I was saying before. Like if our elbows hurt, we immediately go to someone and get treatment. Or if if you're a football player and your 40 times not up, you're going to get a speed coach, right? So same with this. We need a therapist, not just when the sky is falling, but in other times. So I have 3 therapists that I constantly work with, and I'll add more because it's I'm trying to. It's mental fitness now, right? I don't want to just call it mental health. I want to call it mental fitness also.
Okay, I want to take a quick little break here to talk about Nebbia. Nebbia has been making showers for 7 years now, and they're backed by some of the biggest names in Silicon Valley, including Tim Cook. Their newest product is the Nebbia by Moen Quattro Showerhead. It's designed by former Tesla, NASA, and Apple engineers who spent years researching and developing a superior shower experience that saves water. So the Quattro is their most affordable shower, yet the world's best high-pressure water-saving shower. And that's what I truly love about the Quattro. It's super easy to install. You literally just screw it in. It took me less than a minute. And it has 4 spray modes, including 2 high-pressure spray modes and a spa spray, satisfying all types of shower preferences. I've been loving the Angel Hair mode. It's got this unique combination of a misty spa feel, while at the same time maintaining a surprisingly high water pressure that makes it easy to rinse. And if you're looking to upgrade other areas of your bathroom, Nebbia also has other awesome sustainable bathroom accessories, such as their new quick dry earth mat. They've got shower shelves and shower curtains, hooks, and more. The Quattro starts at just $119 exclusively on Nebbia.com. So that's Nebia, Nebbia.com. And they gave us a special discount just for our community. So go to Nebbia.com/findingmastery and use the code FindingMastery at checkout to get 10% off all of their Nebbia products. Nebbia rarely does deals like this, so it's a great deal to jump on. Again, go to Nebbia, Nebia.com/FindingMastery, and you'll get 10% off with the code FindingMastery. And Finding Mastery is also brought to you by Athletic Greens. So I started using Athletic Greens because, quite simply, I want to be great with my nutrition. And I do struggle making and ordering the right variety of foods to get in the required variety of nutrients. So I've been using AG for 6+ years, and I don't know what to tell you, but I'm stoked on it. I love the energy levels I have on a daily basis, and AG is a part of that equation. It's just 1 scoop in the morning. That's what I do. And in that, I'm absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, all to help, get the day started right. So the special blend of ingredients that they've created are designed to support gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging, all of those things. And right now, health matters. It's front and center. And so I want to encourage you to invest in your immune system in lots of ways, and Athletic Greens is one of those ways. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune supporting vitamin D, and they're also throwing in 5 free individual packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/finding mastery. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/finding mastery to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And with that, let's jump right back into the conversation. That's right. And so in sport, in elite sport, the ones that front load their training before the quote unquote test, the ones that front load physical, mental, technical training, those are the ones that are more durable, more resilient, more agile when, the opportunity is there. So if you're not training your mind in times of calm waters, what makes us think in rugged waters that it's going to hold up well? So, yeah. All right. And then talk therapy. So we got that. Meditation, mindfulness is another kind of best practice. Mindfulness-based stress reduction.
I do
medication,
so
and other.
I'm willing to try them all. I've tried over 30 of them. I'm one of those guys. The SSRIs just don't work. A lot of them don't work. I probably found 2 over the years that worked, but I metabolized so fast. They worked for a few days and that was it. So I'm trying to give all these strategies and these tools that I have, hoping to build myself from the inside out, but I'm still going to try. When the next medication comes out, I'm going to try it. Like, I'm never going to stop seeking out that help. And when I have friends who their meds work for them, I'm like, damn, I'm like, shit, I wish I could be that. So I agree too. And meds come in all sorts of ways now, right? Because now you have, the psychedelics are coming out and the whatever it is, alternative health medicines, and I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah, good. I mean, there's a lot of alternatives.
Because I can pull myself out of it too. Yeah. But I haven't found one that's worked for me yet. Like, it's been 30 plus, but I'll keep trying. So I want people to understand that out there. Like, yes, it works for you. Keep doing it and
keep exploring.
But we also got to build ourselves up from the inside out, with or without them.
The other is exercise, so you're well aware that can meaningfully impact. And then there's also some modalities like transcranial magnetic stimulation. There's EEG stuff where you can actually attune your brain. So those modalities. I've done that. Yeah, those modalities are important as well.
I've done the brain scans where they do the what do they call it? EMDR?
EMDR is another modality.
EMDR, right? Yeah, I've done that. Man, I've done, like I said, I've done a lot. I've done a lot because I know I could pull myself up. Now, some of them have set me in a spiral, dark hole. And I know, like I said, I could pull myself up and out of it. And I work with so many combat vets. I don't want to ever say to them that give the okay if something that I don't know works for me.
That's right.
So I'm willing to try anything really for them. So I can say, wow, this was amazing, or this is my experience with this. Because I'm just trying to be a good teammate to them. And I know I can pull myself out of it. Where, like, for me, as dark as I've ever gotten, suicide will not be an option for me. Like, I just won't. I will not do that and if I made that decision a long time ago, I want everybody to, like, A, you never know what lies around next Tuesday. Our lives could always change next week. But B, I just don't want to do that to anybody else. Right? I just don't want to I don't want to put my pain on anybody else. And while my pain may be gone if I do that, their pain around me will be, I put so much more pain and problems on them, and I don't want to do that. So I know I can pull myself up and out of these dark holes that certain treatment has led me to, but I won't stop until and there's been some that have given me relief for certain periods of time. So I'll keep trying to do it for all of us.
We all need high ground, whether that is a warm bath, magnesium, salt, like massage, whatever it might. We all need high ground. And if there's durable ways that you can get to the high ground, great. And so this is a great conversation. I want to honor our time, but a great conversation.
We're good.
For you to say, for me to say, hey, invest in your psychology.
Mhm.
Don't wait until you feel breakable. You don't need to wait for
Right.
that. Like, get on it now, like right now.
Yeah.
And folks are listening, like, what do you mean? Yeah, call a sports psychologist, call a performance psychologist, go find a local psychologist from a friend of yours that's doing some work,
Mhm.
and get ahead of it, which is like, I want to be great. I want to experience my potential. I want to flourish in life.
Mhm.
Well, go get your mind fit
Mhm.
and conditioned and healthy so it's
Yeah.
pliable and agile. I mean,
And,
that's it,
and
dude.
look, the key to being great, and I put this in the book, it's actually pretty simple. Find out who the best is and do more than them. That's it. Right?
Oh my God. I love the simplicity. I think you need
It
to add
is.
a tone. You need to add a tone in there though.
What is
There's
that?
there's a note
Well,
in here that's important.
but my point is, a lot of
Authenticity.
people, but
Authenticity.
but a lot of people go, man, why isn't this happening for me? Why isn't this happening for me? Because, man, you if you want this to happen for you, you got to double your work output. That's what I said. Like, I was working 100-hour weeks, trying to make my dreams come true. I wasn't out working everybody by a lot. But listen, it's the simplicity. I use Tom Brady all the time. This dude's a 6th-round pick. He wasn't a full-time starter in college. Terrible body, couldn't run fast. What's he do? He outworks the world. I had a football player. We were training the Atlanta Falcons one year, and this football player came out, J.J. Watt. He said to me, man, how about J.J.'s turned into? I said, yeah. And he said, man, I wonder why I didn't turn into that. I said, well, you can just find out his workout and do more. And it's not just the workout, it's the film, right? It's the body, it's everything. And he goes, well, I can't do that. I said, well, there's your answer right there.
There's your answer right there.
You just said it.
But I would go upstream from there, Jay, and I'd say it's not the downstream workout. It's the way that he's thinking about creating that type of workout plan. It's the 14 physical training coaches that he's interviewed to find the thing that works right for him. So I'd go upstream on that and say, understand how he thinks. And
And
then
it's
everybody's leaving clues. We're all leaving
it's
clues.
listen, the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Lindsey Vonns, they all got the same thing. They outwork everybody, not by a little, but by a lot. Now, the other end of that is trying to be great is lonely. It's freaking miserable. It's all the hours that you put in that nobody watches. Right.
Well,
But then you
that's
have
when,
to,
okay, this is really important because that's trying to be the greatest. If you're
or
trying to
just
be
great.
but if you're trying to be your best, whatever that might be, it doesn't necessarily have to have that level of quote unquote sacrifice. What it doesn't have to
Well,
have
if
it.
we're talking about on the pro level, it's got to have a lot of sacrifice.
Okay, so we need to actually sit down over this because I can introduce folks in different disciplines, not sport. And you and I know the same players that are the half percenters and say, oh God, there's a loneliness, there's an internal scratchiness. I'd like to have them over for dinner once, but I don't want to be around this person very often because there's such a toxicity inside of them.
Oh, no, I don't mean that. But listen, I'm around Strahan all the time, right? My best,
Mm-hmm.
he outworks the freaking world, but it's constant. And the things he knows he's not good at, he's going to work harder at. He's going to ask. So you always want to be around him. So I'm not saying it's that where it's toxic being around guys or it's all they think about work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you want to be
Okay,
great in anything
good.
you do, you got to work your freaking ass off. Like
Period.
it doesn't
Yeah,
just happen
period.
for us, for
But
anybody.
yeah,
And then
I would
you can't be upset that it doesn't happen and go, why isn't this happening to me when you're not putting that work in? That's my point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's a really important point.
Okay.
Okay, look, let's slightly pivot and just talk about trust for just a quick moment here. Your currency is trust. People trust you, and they bring you into the intimate circle, knowing that your job is to talk about information that they share with you. Okay, so it is a high wire act that you're able to navigate, and you've done it beautifully. Your relationships are your second currency. So, how do you develop trust? What is your mechanism for it?
I'm authentic. Love me or hate me, I am who I am. Right? I'm authentic. Even when I'm trying to mask the depression, anxiety, there's always an authenticity about me. Like I've never hid my fucked upness. Right? Again, back then we called it crazy. Now we're called it mental health. But also in building relationships, I've never had relationships where I'm trying to have a relationship for me. I go in every relationship of what I could, man, I need a team for mental health. I need a team. So on my team, I'm going to be the most loyal dude in the room. And I hope everybody else is going to be just as loyal. But that's the key. You go in and you be loyal, and you have give relationships where you're not just taking. No one wants to be around that. I will actually treat everybody. It's going to sound a little bizarre, but I treat people like I'm going to be their pallbearer. Right? Who's your pallbearer? The people that, man, you can know what matter what. They're your ride and dies. Wherever you are in life, you get in trouble, you call me. I'm that guy. I'll be there in 2 seconds, whatever it is. And man, if 10 or 15 people are view me the same way back, I got a good little crew around me. And luckily, I think some more than that have, because I am there and authentic, and I'm not just trying to take and use it. Yeah, but a lot of times I get in fights with my people about, they're like, man, we can't have this. Well, I need to break this, man. That's what I do for a living. Like, we got to, so there is, but you got to remind, hey, this is what you guys need help with this. I need help with this. But I just always make sure people know, like, I'm never doing this because I'm looking for scoops. I'm never doing this. I put out probably less than 1% of what I'm told. So a lot of it too is, like, hey, I really like this, or hey, I want to work on this with you. Hey, I'm going to help you with this, but when it happens, I want to be the one to break it. Right. And that is a trust also. And I think when I started in, the early days, one of the things I want to do is do it differently. I thought a lot of writers back then this is the early 90s, late 80s or early 90s, were using their pen as a weapon. I said, I'm going to start relationships. Totally different. And I'd build relationships instead of going for the scoop. If you just go for the scoop, you're going to burn yourself. It's one time. If you have a relationship, you guys are always both lifting each other up. Like, we should lift each other up for the long term. And that's how I do it. I mean, it's funny because I was doing a NFL training camp tour. Dan Quinn, his second to last year, I think, with the Falcons, third to last year, whatever it was. And I still do the same stuff I did since 93. I go to training camp all summer. And Dan's like, what are you still doing this for? I said, what do you mean? He said, you've moved up and on from this, haven't you? I said, there is no up and on for this. Like, you guys are my family. This is my team. The NFL for me is that team I talk about for me, right? The fight world, the mixed martial arts world is a fight team, a family for me. So there is no moving up and on. I'm not looking at people like, oh, now I've moved up and on from all y'all. No, we're walking this walk together forever. That's how I view it.
2 things. One is some research out of Harvard from Francis Fry and Ann Morris talk about there's a trust triangle. So it's empathy, meaning I see you, I get you, there's some logic to the way that we're going to work together, which is like, hey, listen, I gotta break this one.
Right.
Right. And then the other is they know how to trust you because you're authentic. You see and you walk and you talk in ways that are familiar, and there's no dubiousness about it. So,
and I'm going to add a fourth one, though. And that fourth one's that loyalty. Loyalty is a dying art. It's a lost art, right? And for me, loyalty, that has been my brand in anything and everything I've done forever. And that's my authentic brand. So it's and I just say brand because it sounds cool for me to say, but loyalty was put me on the path that I've always been on.
And then the other thing that you talked about, which is materially important, is that I was talking to a big investor in tech, and he was talking, this was maybe like 4 years ago, and he was talking about laying a big bet. And I was like, you're going to lay that kind of bet? And he was talking about Elon Musk and he says, I'm betting on him. I am betting on him. Yeah, he's a bad man. I'm betting on him. And he had great logic of why that seemed like a sound bet, even though like there's some volatility in the market around him. I have that same feeling for you.
Wow.
I would bet on you, and look at your track record, look at your honesty, look at your authenticity, look at your ethic. And like, dude, you have that way about you. And
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So
Wow. Thank you, man. That is, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. And wow, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you. And so listen, however I can be of service to MVP, I know we've talked about it and we haven't been able to line it up to date, but at some point we will. And dude, I'm so stoked to flame and support what you're doing. And then if we
I
could just
appreciate
close
it.
it out, if we close this out, your resume is ridiculous. What do you want people to say at your eulogy? Talking about pallbearers. He
Okay.
was let me give you a few. He was committed to.
Well, first of all, I want to set some ground rules for my funeral.
Yeah,
One
let's do
is
that.
no one's wearing black. You're going to celebrate my ass and celebrate each other. Okay. And no, but it's a party. Okay. That's not more because I also like, I mean, I think we just rent these bodies, but the souls live on forever. And I want to see y'all celebrate. I want to, again, be of service to y'all. So I want y'all to be happy and celebrate and tell all the crazy Glazer stories and have fun and lift yourselves up. So that's one
Okay.
ground rule there.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Shots are allowed. No
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Beers are totally
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to be, I want to leave a legacy here. I want to change. Um, I want to change how mental health is talked about. I want to change the next generation of our military, right? Where, man, that they come out better. They view themselves differently. They view themselves with more pride. They view themselves as, the heroes that they are, and it's not being cliche. And I say heroes because, like, all these vets we have in MVP, I didn't know a single one of them before I started MVP. Yet they went overseas to save, I say save, or to serve people they don't know. That's selfless, and that's why they're heroes. They don't know me and my son. I would like to be, somebody that is able to change. And then same with like our pro athletes, our football players. Man, I want all our pro athletes. Like right now, we're going down a bad road here because of where we are mental health wise in society. And I want to be the guy that gets them to all finish up and be proud of what they did. And they can go live long, happy, successful, fun lives based off what they've done. And I know it's not cliche, but I can't fit it into one or two words, which obviously I can't do anything with. But at least I want, you know what? Man, I probably like the room to be left with people saying, I'm better off because of Jay Glazer.
Period.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm rooting for you, brother. I'd
Thank you,
bet on
brother.
you too. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm a work in progress, man. I'm still, even like you
Mm-hmm.
saying what you said to me, um, I'm trying to accept that more now. And,
Mm-hmm.
Lee, and it's hard for me. But it's getting better for me when I hear things like that. So I really appreciate that. It really means a lot.
Awesome. All right, dude. I'm looking forward to the next time that we connect in person.
Yeah.
And anything I can do on this
Come to
end.
MVP session in LA. I'll meet you out there. It's
When
every
you in
Wednesday
there,
night.
it's every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday at Unbreakable in LA. And we're in 7 cities. For any combat vet or athlete that's listening to this, MVP, merging vets and players. We take former combat vets, now actually open up to active combat military. And we're merging together with former NFL players and former fighters and Olympians in basketball and baseball. But now it's everyone because we want them to know they have a place to go when the uniform comes off. And we're putting them together. We train for about a half hour just to give you that burn again and, release that in your brain. But it's really, we sit in these mats after and we talk about everything. And we are so vulnerable. And it's not 3 or 5 of us in a room. And we're not sitting there with styrofoam cups. Like we're sitting there, there's 50, 80, 100. Like it's incredible. And how much we open up and lean on each other and learn from each other. It's incredible. So come up there, man, you be my guest. I would love it. They would love it also. And that's our vets and our players deserve to be heard. And when they kind of bounce stuff off each other, man, it's better than any Fortune 500 boardroom I've been in or meeting room I've been in. It's incredible what they come up with. So I'd love for you to come up and witness the magic firsthand.
Fire in the hole. Let's
Yes, I
go.
like it. Good.
Let's go. All right, Jay. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Unbreakable. Check it out. Social. Find it everywhere. And
It's called Unbreakable: How I Turn My Depression and Anxiety into Motivation, and you can too. So, yep, you can get anywhere, any bookstore, anywhere you normally buy books.
appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man.